And that one too? So.
We're going to start anyway.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call the December Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the NRHA Board of Commissioners meeting. We are broadcasting this meeting live on a virtual platform. For your reference, all information shared today is available online at www.nrha.us in the Board of Commissioners section. We will allow for public comment today. Virtual participants have the opportunity to raise their hands. Attendees may also use the chat feature to make their comment as well. Because we have a very short agenda today, I don't want to hold everyone up. So I will now commence the public comment portion. Virtual participants, if you would like to state your comment, please click on the raise hand icon on your screen and you will be called upon. You can also type a comment into the question box on your screen as well. When called upon, please address the virtual room by stating your first and last name, address, and your comment. Please know that questions asked during this time may not be answered and responded to, but instead we will make arrangements to follow up with you after the meeting to address those questions. Do we have anyone on the line? And if you would check.
Mr. Commissioner, I have checked for it. There are no comments or raised hands at this time.
Okay, would you just look to see if anyone's in the hallway, please, as well? Thank you.
Sure. So, I hope Delphine will put that in the.
Yeah. Festive sweater omitted from minutes. This is not going to boost attendance.
I think it's nice.
Okay, I don't think we have anybody in the hallway.
Okay, no one in the hall? No, here comes Rachel.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Mr. Commissioner, we have one speaker, Mr. Raytron White from Brandy Village.
All right, Rachel, come on up.
Okay, good morning. How y'all doing?
Fine.
Good. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
I can speak in my head. I just got some concerns. I came last month and I came the month before that. I skipped a month. We still haven't got any answers for stuff we're asking. I think next in January, I'm getting together with all the team season. We're going to come down to the commission because we haven't got anything answered. Jackson, we need some answers. For example, you know, a week and a half ago, there was a shooting in Calvert Square. They shut the building down in Calvert Square. They said everybody home. They were so concerned about employees there. There was a shooting in my neighborhood. No one called me about nothing. And we're just tired. And I'll bring my family members to that. We're going to do a press conference and everything. We haven't got any answers to anything of our problem we've asked for the last 3 or 4 months. We're going to see about it. We're going to talk about it. We have a pocket policy. Before Mr. Sanders left, he's director of housing. They came to my office and asked me because I have 2 cars, and the meeting's about my 2 cars. It shouldn't be about 2 cars. It should be about the cars in the neighborhood. We've got the pocket policy together. Supposed to be out on the 1st of December. People are parking everywhere in the neighborhood, and we have not gotten it. Our staff is done it with the agent, with Brenda Fleming and the TMC board. We got everything out. They had the pocket policy 4 pages. That's more than the least. We wanted 1 page. We're not in Beverly Hills. We're in Granby Village, and they have not done it yet. And we're supposed to go out on the 1st, give the residents 30 days. And the residents agreed they want to have a pocket policy. We can't park. People coming from work at the park around the corner from their houses. and people that live on the other side, parking in park because they go parking safe, and they have visiting. So in the last 2 weeks, we had some people breaking into cars. Actually, the cars were unlocked, and the lady said they did it twice to her car, so she didn't have her car unlocked, so they want to break her one, she had to pay for the deductible. And I reported that. Every time we report something, it gets to the agency that has never been reported. I'm a resident, and I'm a TNC president, so my voice counts like anybody else's voice. I reported it, that means somebody reported it. So in January, we're having our first city community meeting, and that will be for we have had in a year. And the residents are very serious. They want to come down here. I don't want to come down here. I want them to make sure that if I represent them, I represent them well. There's no answers to anything we have done. I've talked to Ms. about that a day ago. She should get back with me. No one got back with me. She's out last week. I called, and somebody got to say that the letter will be put out. I volunteered to put it out in the neighborhood. We haven't got a letter out. The residents need to know when something's going on, we better respond to the police. I met with the police officer last night about 9 o'clock. We was in the neighborhood, and I said, if we have a better response to the residents getting back to the people, and they respond in the rental office, and then they can't do that because for the last month, they have been, Mr. Jackson, you know, we had about these 5 employees at Great Village. There are Social Security numbers of people's business, purpose, private companies, and policies in the office, and every time you turn around, there's a different person in the office. We just don't know. Our neighborhood is crumbling. We have the best neighborhood in Hampton Road. It's crumbling. Where people are calling, you can't answer the phone, they don't answer the phone, they won't get back with you, email them. We're just tired. We just are tired. So we're getting together right after Christmas. We have our own Christmas party. We're going to get together. We're coming down here in January. We want some answers, somebody to answer to us. I'm sick of coming down here and coming and telling you all and the ideas we have, and no one's listening. No one's listening to ideas. I went to a meeting 2 weeks ago with the mayor of Norfolk and city and Norfolk University. Their partnership up with Granny Village. Dr. Austin is coming to a survey. The whole team of social, we have mental illness people out in our neighborhood. The kids are going off because they have nowhere to go. So we have a big survey, and they're starting with Granny Village and giving every resident that comes over 18, $25 gift card before Christmas to do a survey with them. I'm trying the best I know how. I'm the only one in public, NRHA residents coming up here every month trying to get something done, and it's like a smack in my face. It's unbelievable. I'm asking the board to make sure we get into something that can actually listen to what we want to do. I've asked for stuff, asked for checks. I've got a check. There's another check to our office. We have to go to our personal pocket to pay our bills in the office because they have a check and they mailed it. We haven't got mail in my office in over a year because of construction out there. And NRHA knows this. Why would you mail a check? It's called in-house mail. Save your money. Jack, I'm tired. I'm tired. I prayed this morning, the Lord give me the words to say. What more do we got to do? We have to have somebody die in our neighborhood to get some answers. Matter of fact, the dying young, the residents want to know what's going on. We want to help. It's just everybody say, okay. When are they going to come up to a meeting and decide to do something? I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know how people tell the board and let this stuff happen. We're suffering out there. We are suffering. I'm trying to keep our community granted in control, but I can't because we don't have any backbone. I went to the office. I've called the new manager. She knows. She don't know. We had to go down and ask the guy from the parking lot myself to bring the pass. He had it for a month. No one called him. He's been calling the office. There's no answer to the telephone. And I told them, someone knew that we had a big meeting. But nobody knew nothing. Nobody reported the crime out there. How did they not report the police department? They called the police. They reported. There were police reports to the rental office every time we have an accident out there. So how you don't know, and then they'll tell you where the house is, where the shooting is, and no one does anything about it. Okay. It's just unbelievable. I don't know. So next month we're coming, and we're inviting some people to come with us. And that's the news. This is ridiculous. I am really fed up. I'm not giving up, but I'm fed up. Because we have to have something for these young people to do. And we're trying, and they're not hearing our voices, not asked, just to come to the table. I want stuff that's done for our neighborhood. So we need to get it done. All right? I don't know what we're going to do, man. I talked to them 3 times. I don't know. I don't know if you've got anything planned that tells us that we're working on it, or this is done, that is done. Nothing has been done since the last time we met. We met 3 months ago with all the staff. Nothing is done.
Thank you. Great job.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you next month.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Anyone else sign up?
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it is.
Okay, good. Have a good holiday process.
Merry Christmas. All right, bye-bye.
Mr. Chairman, I have checked the lobby, and we have no additional persons to make comments this time. There are also no additional hands raised.
All righty, I will call the public comment period to a close. Thank you. We have a couple of items on the board. Mr. Executive Director, you have any comments?
Well, just quickly, staff really appreciated the commissioners visiting the sites yesterday. I've heard nothing but positive comments, especially seeing the commissioners out. Also, because of availability or lack of availability of some commissioners, we had to cancel some of the visits, and actually are here today. They're on the first floor, so after the meeting, whatever commissioners are available, we're going to go down and basically give you the opportunity to greet them, and then we'll also, share the gifts that we had for all the staff. And then we also have the different floors we also have today. And then once we finish this building at 1 o'clock, we have a final sort of visit over at Valentine. And each one we do have a commissioner representation.
Great. Thank
So
you.
I just want to thank you all.
Thank you for thanking us.
Okay.
And now I'll go ahead and look at our
Yes.
council to talk to us about the two big issues on the agenda.
Good morning, commissioners. You have in your packet two resolutions that are really connected to each other. Both involve bond issuances. As you know, when NRHA acts as a conduit bond issuer, you are issuing the bonds, but you do not have any liability or responsibility for the repayment of the bonds or for the project itself. These are what we call pass-through issuances. They are wonderful for you because they really are complementary to your mission. These developments basically make sure that we have a good inventory of affordable housing in Norfolk. And in addition to that, as the housing authority issuer of the bonds, you receive a fee equal to 1/8 of 1% of the outstanding bond amount. For each of these, because they're over $50 million, you're looking at a total of over $120,000 each year in revenue. And remember that revenue doesn't have any strings attached. These are not federal funds. These are not HUD funds you have all the reporting obligations on. So it's really unrestricted money that can help NRHA with its mission. So this is a win-win scenario. We have on the phone a representative of the developer from the Standard Communities. And then we have also Mike Graff. Mike Graff is bond counsel for the developer. He's with McGuire Woods. We've worked with him on many other bond issuances in the past. So you really have a terrific team that can take this project and do an excellent job. And I'll turn it over to Mike if he's on the line and can hear us, if he can unmute himself and perhaps give a few remarks, and then have the developer also give a few remarks, if that's all right with the board.
We do them one at a time.
And then we will vote on each of them one at a time.
Okay, great.
Mike, are you on the line?
I am. Thank you, Delphine. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, happy to be with you virtually this morning, and thanks to the Commission and to Delphine for getting us to this point before you today, seeking your assistance with two inducement resolutions with respect to two acquisition and substantial rehabilitation financings for Braywood Manor and Lexington Park apartment complexes in the city. And as Delphine described to you, these would be revenue bond financings in which the Commission would be the issuer of the bonds, but the repayment of the bonds would be solely the responsibility of the developer. These types of tax-exempt bonds allow the developer also to avail themselves of the 4% housing tax credit program. So it's a very advantageous way to finance the acquisition and substantial rehabilitation of affordable apartment complexes, as Delphine mentioned, at no cost to the governmental pass-through issuer, and it provides unrestricted fee income to local housing authorities. The inducement resolutions that are before you this morning are the first step in the local governmental approvals that we will be seeking between now and the closings on the financings. This preliminary resolution allows the developer to begin to expend their own funds on the project, but preserve their right to reimburse themselves from the proceeds of tax-exempt bonds at the closings. It also is helpful with respect to qualification for 4% tax credits for the acquisition of the properties, which will be happening shortly. So it's important to have these preliminary resolutions in place in a timely fashion for those purposes. We will be coming back to the authority early in 2022 with another requested resolution, at which time we'll ask the authority to hold public hearings with respect to the two financings, and thereafter we'll be seeking Norfolk City Council's approval of the financings, and then we'll proceed to closing in the next weeks and months, and we'll be working arm in arm with Delphine on all of those matters. I guess with that, that's sort of supplementing Delphine's comments as to the sort of legalities of the two proposed resolutions. But let me, if I may, introduce Stephen Kahn, who's a principal in Standard Communities, and he can talk to you briefly about his firm and Braywood Manor and Lexington Park. And then we're both available to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Mike. To echo Mike's sentiments, thank you all for meeting with us today and giving us this opportunity to talk about two properties that I'm personally very excited about and see tremendous opportunity in. We Standard Communities have operated in almost 24 states nationwide, and this is the core of what we do, what we are passionate about: creation and preservation of high quality, committed, affordable housing. So by getting involved at Lexington and Braywood, we see an opportunity to replicate successes we've had elsewhere and really come in and make a difference in a community that is near and dear to me. I grew up in Virginia Beach. My mom's from Norfolk. So nice for me to be able to come back and do some work at home. So very, very excited about this opportunity. The transaction is going to touch every part of these properties, and I think in a positive way. As Mike mentioned, we'll be working with Virginia Housing on a 4% low-income housing tax credit allocation as well, and we're going to use those funds combined with the bond proceeds to do just a wholesale revitalization renovation of the properties. I'd be hard pressed to think of an area that is not going to be positively impacted by these funds. So unit interiors, complete makeovers with kitchens and baths and flooring and paint, updated electrical systems, doors and cabinet pulls, like everything is in scope. And then also the more fundamental elements of the building, the roofs and the windows and the envelope and the grounds and the parking and the ADA accessibility, all very much in scope. And then the third branch that we are looking at and excited about, and it's kind of something that we do at all of our properties, is as opposed to creating homes or communities in the sense of four walls and a roof, it's the softer part of what comes with that. So looking to put in place services and programming that will help residents achieve success by whatever measure they have. So, excuse me, Braywood is a elderly and disabled property serving elderly and disabled residents, whereas Lexington Park serves largely families. So they'll be a little bit different to respond to the needs of the populations there. But that's a fundamental element of the approach that we take to all of our properties, both the physical renovation as well as creation of true community at the properties. So thank you so much for your time. Happy to answer any and all questions, but we are very excited about this opportunity and to be working with you.
Okay, folks, any looks like there's several hundred of these units to be refurbished, and I think that's something that we hear over and over and over again about affordable units, and so we really do appreciate this particular effort. But questions, folks? Did you?
No, sir.
Suzanne?
Exciting.
Yeah, good, thank you.
And Joe? So, well, thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking on this effort.
If we may, I would like to hear a motion on the first resolution. The first one is for the scattered site Lexington Park Apartments, which is a total of 260 units. If we could please have a resolution regarding this inducement resolution.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
I will call the roll. Commissioner Dillard?
Aye.
Commissioner Gresham?
Aye.
Commissioner Purrier?
Aye.
Commissioner Masaccio?
Aye.
And moving on to the second resolution, which is the inducement resolution for the second project, which is Braywood Manor Apartments, 238 units. May I have a motion, please?
I will make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Gresham. A second, please.
Second.
Commissioner Dillard?
Aye.
Commissioner Gresham?
Aye.
Commissioner Purrier?
Aye.
Commissioner Masaccio?
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Uh,
Mike and Stephen, did you have any additional comments? If not, I believe we are done with the approval of those two items.
Just want to extend my thanks and look forward to working with you on these projects, and have a great day.
And the same for me. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah Festivus.
Thanks. Same to you all.
Yes.
Thank you very much for participating remotely.
We did have one other update, and that was from USI, answers to Suzanne and Joe's questions. Suzanne and Joe, you had an opportunity to look at those, and if they respond to you, if you have further questions, just let us know, we'll get them to them.
Yeah, you can let me know.
Because you know, I have now many more questions.
Yeah.
Than I had in the beginning, so I will,
Yeah,
I'll draft
yeah.
them or talk to you. Or
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, that'll be.
Yes, I
Okay.
now face more questions.
Okay.
Well, and again, I think that's the whole purpose, is to make sure we understand
Right.
exactly what's going on. And so if we have further questions about the answers of the questions, initial questions, and that's what we need to do. Absolutely. And Joe?
No, nothing right now.
Okay, but again, it's always open to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
to do that.
Yeah.
And I guess one last thing would be any comments from the sort of subcommittee meetings, housing choice voucher, any of that kind of stuff? Any, no addition?
No, I think no.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to read, but I think we were really pleased to see that, that although it's a flurry of activity over here, I understand Gates is, reaching conclusion, a successful conclusion, and, and that the Sandra will now,
Right.
focus her attention on other projects, but that was, I know.
Yeah. And I know one thing also I wanted to add on the construction side, I'd like to thank Matt and his staff, because back, I'd say spring, summer, it was projected that the construction wouldn't be finished, but Nat and his team out of development did a really great job to work with the contractor to actually be done, that we can actually start processing to lease up. So I'd like to thank the staff, Lysandra, Nat, and their staff for getting that done.
Yes. Other comments before we?
And I,
And I just have it's more about even a process question than a comment. But to the public hearing today, to Mr. White's point, yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if is there a way some of those concerns can be taken off of your plate and maybe directed to one of the committees?
well, we did talk about that. Well, the last time he was here, I think even Alfonso brought up that he should bring his concerns, and the fact is that staff has been working on it. I mean, even with for example, with the rec center, actually went out there first to see the construction that prohibits any kind of activity. There's no accessibility to the site. Well, one of our recommendations is that we have a learning center that's right across the way that's being underutilized. Why can't we program, or the city program some activities out there? It won't be equivalent to like a rec center, but there's space out there to do things. So I'm actually meeting with, we're planning to meet with Councilwoman Royster out sometime next week out there, because I've been just keeping her abreast of what's going on, and also the deputy city manager. So we're trying to work through the issues that are out there. And the construction also is, in terms of the parking and availability, I mean, that's also created some.
Do we have a unified written list of what the items are? It seems to me that, he is wonderful about having these things in his head, but it seems like he comes up, with new insights.
I think there's.
If we had that, and
there's just different things, and
it's
different things, and it's hard for staff to really respond because there's always a host of things, and it's really, to me, it's really unfair to staff.
Well, I think usually the way to resolve issues is, the first thing is to find out what is the issue.
What
am I supposed to fix? Or deal with? And, I think sometime between now and the January meeting, we should probably reach out to him.
Right.
Maybe you and I.
Let's do that.
And we can say, give us the top 5.
And, get a priority on it.
Give me the top 5, and once we deal with those, give me the next 5. Because again, I think his frustration is very obvious.
It is. And it's
and we need to make sure that we are addressing the specifics to the extent that we can. I also know that, from my Civic League stuff, the libraries closed, so you can't have meetings. The rec centers are either closed or have hours that don't fit, and you think you need a rec center.
Right.
And talking with the folks in the city, I mean, this isn't about we don't care about you. It's about we don't have money, we don't have staff. So again, we've got to work through those things to make sure that it isn't just, thanks for your comment, go away.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if we had kind of a list, particularly a prioritized list. I mean, what's the most important thing? I think we want to be able to, take action to, achieve a deliverable, but it's.
And I can tell you that staff has not neglected anything. They have not neglected.
I just offer up the committee structure as a resource to
and
you.
We did.
If that's helpful. You want to titrate this down to a little smaller audience,
Well, I think if we get the top 5, we can
talk.
We can assign into.
My only question is, I get the top 5, but I would have the whole list. So that there's not this growing thing that on this date, these were the things that were mentioned.
Right.
So that, because as you say, perhaps 2 committees may get involved.
Right.
And just so that we all are on the same
Well,
page.
let's do that. Give me your list, and
then we'll
give us some priorities.
Then Don and I can.
Because, whatever the cliche is about eat the elephant one bite at a, that kind of cliche. Or the cow.
Oh, please.
Yes, Joe.
I think I need to go back. I have 2 questions. I think the
Is
document.
this about the answers from USI?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just 2 simple questions. And maybe you can help me with this, Suzanne. I don't think NRHA separates its data when we talk about moving people up to neighborhoods of opportunity. If we move them back into public housing units. We still calculate that in our overall goals of rehousing people, correct?
I'm not for sure unless Donna is on.
Am I saying this right? When we do our data reporting for NRHA, and we move someone from Tidewater Gardens and put them back in Tidewater Gardens in phase 2, or Prairie, or Grandy Village, we still take that family and put them in the overarching goal of how we're moving families out of Tidewater Gardens. We don't separate it like USI.
I don't think so, but Donna.
No, I think it is on the Tidewater Gardens relocation dashboard. It does separate where people go to. If they've moved to another LIPH community, it is reflected on the dashboard.
Right, but when we talk about percentages of how many families we serve, we don't separate it out, correct?
Separate it out into.
I'll follow up with Donna.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll answer these questions from your side.
Okay.
Do we know the person who answered the questions?
I mean, we know where it came from, but we can touch base with Donna, and then she can hopefully obtain those answers.
Because, once you had an opportunity, really, if you had an opportunity to go through it, and if you wanted some more, created more questions, and then you could get back, and then maybe it would even take a sit down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be the next step instead of the back and
The way I read it was that Suzanne had questions and I had questions.
forth.
That you could clarify it. And instead of clarifying misrepresentation of data, you tried to bounce around and make it legit of what you did. Instead of saying, oh, that is a good catch. Let us fix that.
Absolutely. I think possibly the follow-up is we, NRHA, need the information this way.
Right, but what they're saying is that we're talking in NRHA, we're doing exactly what you got, which is not the case, even though we separated out, so. I got you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you can
I
capture that data, and
when I said my email, this should not be us versus them. We need all three parts of this system to work, the city, the USI and us, and so I don't want this to devolve into some kind of defensive, self-serving memo exchange. But I think there are legitimate questions here. Maybe some of it is, the way your report's written and the way your data is presented is not the most effective one. Maybe you need they do need a good copy editor, but maybe you need somebody who can help you present that data, in a way that's understandable.
And good PR.
I'm trying to.
What I got out of it the other was, I'm going to give them the benefit of that it's accurate, but it's not accurate the way most people look at things. So you're right, they moved, this one looks good, it's true, but really what I want to know is this one. And that is, and as Joe and Suzanne pointed out, on one thing you say X, and then the next one you say X plus, but it's the exact same thing. What percentages of what is what? So, again, I think the answer was nice, but didn't solve the issue.
So, and like I said, I'm not looking to get into a fight with anybody. I'm just trying to understand, I don't understand it. And I'm a data person, and I do case management. If I don't get this.
That's right.
It's not that I'm a rocket scientist, it's just that I have a little background in this. If I can't get this, then
well, like I said,
who else can,
those who aren't as proficient will be even more confused.
Well, it's probably a little knowledge being a dangerous thing, but.
No, I'm just saying, you get more confused. So, let's talk about how we can get somebody physically here to go over.
I think that's what I would.
When I say physical, face to face, not a.
Yeah.
That's.
Okay. We'll work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, Ms. Carnes, do we have anything?
No, sir, we're done. We're good.
All right. Anyone on the line?
Oh, excuse me.
I thought we had hit the gavel there for a second.
Joni, anyone?
No, we don't have anyone.
Okay.
All right, then I will call the December Board of Commissioners meeting to a close.
Oh, I know. Another year in the books.
Okay,